2019 Honda Jazz. And this hasn't changed much. So let's get driving. Honda Jazz is available with only one engine option, a 1.2 liter 4-cylinder naturally aspirated petrol engine, available with two transmission options, either a 5-speed manual or a 7-step CVT. Today we have the CVT model with us. It produces 89 horsepower and 110 Newton meters of torque. Honestly, the power figures doesn't seem to be justifying the name, justifying the segment of premium hatchback. Yeah, true. We definitely need more power. This power figures is completely okay for the cars that are one segment below this one, but for this one, we need more power. Almost every automaker is offering at least one engine option with higher power. Honda should bring at least a powerful variant of that. Yeah, and it's not an alien concept for this car, because the same car is being launched in every other country with a 1.5 liter petrol engine. So yeah, when it comes to India, only one question: why? Yeah, only one engine option is available. Why? I don't know. We need more power, so please Honda, either give us a turbo or a 1.5 liter. Maybe a detuned version, 200 horsepower or something. Yep. But we'll see how well the power gets translated. I'm going to be hard on throttle. Definitely that's not a good idea. Okay, no matter how harder on throttle, the power delivery is going to be linear, and it makes more noise too. Definitely it makes more noise. Yeah, it's a typical CVT's characteristic, so we can agree with that. But honestly, you don't have to be hard on throttle in this car, because it's not an enthusiast car. It's more of a relaxed drive car. And it's not a manual either. So there's no point in revving it hard, because it makes only noise. It's evident. So drive it in a relaxed way and be okay with it. Yeah. If you're light on throttle, this car is going to offer you a very comfortable and effortless drive throughout the journey. That's for sure. Especially on cities, very comfortable ride. The creep mode will get you moving in the stop-go traffic, and that's going to be sweet, effortless. Yeah, if you will fall in love with this car even more, especially when driving in city and in chock-a-blocks traffic. No matter how you're driving in city or highway, the visibility is really good. Of course, excellent. There is a thick, visibility is excellent. The best in segment, I will say. Yeah. Of course, there is a thick A-pillar which is definitely going to intrude in your field of view. You have to dance your way out to find out who is hiding behind that blind spot. Yeah, that's definitely a blind spot. And for avoiding the blind spot, they have given a quarter glass on both sides, but from where you sit, it's not that friendly. Yeah, from this angle, it's not going to give much impact. From here, that quarter glass makes sense, but from here, this quarter glass doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. Yes, I think the Honda has fixed this problem in the 2020 Jazz, which I don't think it's going to come to India. Never. Because there is already a speculation that it's never going to come to India. Let's be optimistic about the future, okay? Yeah. So, they've already fixed the problem. Let's hope that they bring the new updated version of Honda Jazz to India, because that comes with a hybrid. So, definitely attract more buyers. Okay. I will choose it. Okay. Coming back to this one, if you want brisk acceleration from this engine, you can always drop a gear by using paddle shifters and get that instant punch that is needed. Okay, I noticed one thing while using the paddle shifters. Don't drop two gears at the same time, because it makes much more noise, and you will not be able to enjoy the power surge that you're getting. So always use one downshift and be okay with it. Just here's the evidence. Yeah, here it is. Just one downshift, and that is second downshift. See, the noise is definitely not pleasant. Yeah, that makes a lot of noise. Just downshift one step and be okay with it. And if you want to take control completely manually, then you can slot the gear in sports mode and use the paddle shifters to take manual control. But unfortunately, the controls are not completely manual. Yeah. The upshift happens anyway at 6,500 RPM, that is red line, and the downshift happens anyway around 1,000 or 1,500 RPM. The transmission upshifting itself on red line is something okay. So if the sport mode is going to give me much more power, shall I put it on slow sport mode and drive all my way? Technically, you can, but I will not suggest this for a couple of reasons. First obvious reason is it makes more noise. Definitely. By this time you would have known that. Second main reason is it drops the fuel efficiency drastically. That's important for a small engine, because this is not an enthusiastic car. So expecting a fuel economy from a small engine is what it meant for. So fuel economy numbers are important. Speaking of fuel economy numbers, what numbers this one produces, especially the CVT one? Okay, the Honda JAZZ CVT produces around 14 km per liter in city, and in highway the maximum I got is around 16, with the average speed of around 100 or 110, not more than that. Okay, here's something that I want to point out is, if you're someone who's considering Honda JAZZ and fuel economy figures is also one of your concerns and you drive more on highway, get the manual instead, because it will give you more control on your gears and a brisk acceleration, and also it produces a couple of kilometers more than this one on highway. You still get the same 14 kilometers on city, but on highway you will definitely get 17 or 18, sometimes even 19 if you're driving sensibly, according to this Honda Eco Ring, where it glows green when you're driving normally, blue and everything. That's really a good thing. So if you're someone with that criteria, pick the manual instead. This is not a cup of tea for you. And also, if you're picking the manual, make sure that you get used to the pain of using the clutch on city, because you cannot escape that. Okay, it drives excellent in city, and the braking bite is okay. A bit more feedback is definitely needed for this car. Yes, especially if you're on highway cruising at triple-digit speeds, the brakes don't inspire that much confidence. A little more bite would have been better. Speaking of driving on highways, if you're a light foot driver, the car will effortlessly cruise to 100 and 110 km per hour, and it gives a comfortable ride throughout the journey. And that's going to take its own sweet time, that's for sure. Yeah, it's going to take its own sweet time, of course, because of the CVT effect. But if you are even a tiny bit of enthusiast, then this car is going to disappoint you a big time right from the get-go. I think the enthusiast part is there in everybody. If you see a completely empty stretch, you will be tempted to rev it hard, and only you will get noise. Which is why I don't prefer, if you're someone who's driving more on highways and very less on cities, this car is not for you. Pick the manual instead. This will disappoint you in a very big way, especially in delivering the power. Yes. And it's going to take its own sweet time. Even if you see a completely empty stretch, that's going to take its own sweet time to reach there. It's like getting power from a CVT is getting permission from your wife. You will get it. Married man. He knows better. You will get it eventually. But the problem is, by the time when you get it, the circumstances would have changed. The empty road which you saw before is no more an empty road. May not be there. Okay, overall, you said it drives great in city and good on highway, and it has a decent braking performance, and the visibility is excellent actually, except this A-pillar part. So how safe is this car? Even if you opt for the base variant, this car comes with 2 airbag, ABS, EBD as safety equipment. And thanks to government norms, yeah. A couple of years back, even airbags were considered as premium feature. Thanks to government norms again. But unfortunately, the top of the line also gets the same safety kit that you get in the base variant. Okay, actually there is in my perspective, the base variant and top variant in Honda JAZZ is a joke, because you don't get a power pump, you don't get a better safety equipment, everything is same. Just this infotainment system is different. So infotainment system? I don't know. Infotainment system, alloy wheels, that doesn't qualify base variant and top end. You can get it in aftermarket too. Yes. So that's a joke to me. Before talking about practicality, let's put you in driver's seat and get the drive impressions of a manual fanboy's perspective. You're not going to like it, according to me. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, let's see how CVT performs. For starters, the steering wheel is really good to hold. So rubberized steering wheel. I don't think it's a leather wrap. It is a leather wrap, but it looks like a rubber finish. But it's really good to hold. It's not too cushiony and not too thick to hold. It's right on spot. The paddle shifters stays with the steering wheel, and obviously the CVT vine is there, but it's not as bad as I thought. The power figures are being delivered in a very reasonable, linear way. Yeah, linear way. That's the right word. Linear way. I'm not disappointed, definitely. But it makes more noise, and definitely there is no way you can drive this with the Eco Ring on all the time. The moment you rev on, that's gone. You will not be able to get it back. If someone crosses, that's gone. You have to plan way ahead to maintain that. So this affects the fuel economy directly. So if you want a comfortable ride, pick this one. If you want a little bit of fun ride, pick the manual. That's the verdict. Okay, back to practicality. Overall, Honda Jazz is a very practical car, but with three ergonomical disasters. Disaster number one is this touchscreen air conditioning control. This is not a feature. I don't know who thought this as if it is a premium feature. That's really weird. We want physical knobs because you cannot change the air conditioning without taking your eyes off the road. That's a bad design. So the good news is Honda is actually continuously listening to consumers' feedback, and they will remove this touchscreen air conditioning from the city lineup altogether. We hope to see the same change in the Jazz lineup in the future versions, but for now we are left with this. So I'm going to tell you a quirky feature which is there in the air conditioning control, with touchscreen air conditioning control. I just discovered this recently in my manual Honda Jazz. So we want to go from lowest possible temperature to the highest possible temperature. You just hold your finger in the middle and then scroll up. That's going to take you to the halfway, and then you do the same. That's going to take you to the highest possible temperature. So your 14 clicks has been reduced to 2 swipes. The same applies for the other side as well, fan as well, but it's not useful on the other side because fan itself is having only 6 steps. So that's disaster number one. And speaking about disaster number two, the removal of adjustable headrest on the rear. That's wrong. A company who has one of the principle as man maximum, machine minimum, that's not maximum. The man is missing a head there. Headrest is missing. That's wrong. So that's disaster number two. And disaster number three is missing of magic seats. Till 2016, we got magic seats in Honda Jazz lineup, and from 2017, magic seats magically disappeared from Honda.
Yeah, somebody
Honda
thought
Jazz
it was a
lineup.
candidate for cost cutting.
Yeah,
no idea who that is.
That is the best USPs of this car, but it's gone now. You don't get it, not even as an option in the top and the top of the line. So, like I said before, the top variant, base variant, is a joke in Honda Jazz because you don't get any additional features that makes sense. Typically, a fuel tank will reside right below the rear seats, but the Honda engineers have smartly moved the fuel tank right below the front seat so that they can use this space that is there for the magic seats purpose. But right now,
but Honda India smartly removed it.
Yeah, Honda India smartly removed it. But it's not all bad when it comes to practicality, because this Honda Jazz is a very practical car overall. We'll start with the doors. The doors open in 3 steps. It's there in all 4 doors, and it comes in handy when you are parked in a tight parking spot or something. And the moment you hop on from the driver's side, on the driver's side, nothing fancy about the driver's side door controls. Everything is normal ORVM controls and door lock and unlock. And the auto up and down function is there only on the driver's side. I wish it's been included on the co-passenger side as well, but it's not. And then you move on to the instrument console, where it's very simple and elegant. The leftmost you get the tachometer with the gear position indicator, and the middle one you get the speedometer, and you can see the eco ring there. And on the rightmost you get the MID, which gives a plethora of information like distance to empty, 2 trip-ton meters, and average fuel economy, real-time fuel economy indicators. And the steering wheel is, like I said before, it's very nice to hold, and the leathers are the leather stitching is really packed well, and it's not so soft and not so hard either. So it's a perfect balance between them. And you have cruise control on this model. I don't think you will get this in the base model.
No, you will not be getting cruise control in the base model. And CVT with cruise control, it makes more lazy. The system works flawlessly well, obviously. I tried 1 or 2 times. The system works flawlessly well.
Okay, this has a cruise control, and we have a steering mounted audio controls, and the paddle shifters is being fixed with the steering wheel. So I think it's better that way. And then move on to the armrest. There is an armrest which here it's pretty much useless because it's too low for any people. Even the tall passenger, tall driver is short. None of that matters because this is always low. So
it's always low. But this particular car owner has placed a piece of foam and increased the height. Probably this is the best height. Maybe.
Yeah, this is the right height actually. Thanks for the owner for thinking this.
Yeah, thanks for the owner of this car for giving the foam as well as for giving the car.
And the car, yes. So if you are planning to buy a Honda Jazz, and if you think this armrest is going to help, it's not help. You have to put something like this to make it more usable. And that's all about the practicality bits in the front, and all the 4 doors are equipped to hold a 1 liter bottle. When it comes to the back seat of this car, there is nothing exciting. There is no air conditioning vents there, and there is no adjustable headrest, and there is no magic seats. It's just a bench seats, but it's very wide, and the leg room is huge, as the fuel tank is not there in the back anymore. So that left the Honda engineers to design in a way that cabins to optimize the cabin space more. So the headroom and legroom is excellent in this Honda Jazz, and the seats are very wide. Seats very wide for 3 adults. And the boot carrying capacity is 354 liters, which is the best in the segment. I don't think any other hatchback provides 354 liters, right?
Yeah.
Even some sedans are lower than this one, but this boot capacity is excellent, and the loading lip is also not so much high. It's very short, and it's a very, very, very practical car. Okay, now we are done with the practicality. Let's talk about the exterior design.
Yeah, the exterior design, today we are driving the 2019 model, whereas you're not losing any, there is no major difference between 2021 or 20 model when compared to 2019, other than the bumper change, front and rear bumper change, and this particular piece is of soft touch material and a sunroof.
Sunroof is the only meaningful upgrade. The others are just pretty much gimmick. And I personally like the 2019 bumpers more than
The current one.
I like the 2020 or 2020. Both are same. I think
they
they want to bring the LED lightings to the fog lamp section. So they bought a housing, and another housing inside that, and another housing inside that, and finally they found an LED in that. So that's too much happening there. So I don't like the 2020 bumper designs. 2019 bumper designs seems simple and elegant.
For some extent, the front might remind you of Honda City, the previous gen Honda City. The side profile is more like an MPV because of this the wheelbase and the way this seating has been arranged, and that kink in the side profile is definitely accentuating the side profile look.
Also, it helps the rigidity of the doors.
Yeah, thumbs up for that.
Thumbs up for that. As long as it serves the purpose, it's a welcome addition to me. And the only problem in the exterior, I would say, is I would not say it's a problem, because the ground clearance of this car is only 165 mm, which is very low, especially when the fuel tank is right below the front seats.
Yeah.
Every time that'll be like a panic attack for me when I see a very big speed breaker.
Wow.
So now that we discussed everything, the variance and pricing is here for you.
Okay.
After discussing for a very long year, we finally created a YouTube channel named Twin Turbo to explore our interest on automobile. And this is our first video. Check it out. And give us a thumbs up if you like the video, and share your thoughts on the comments, because that will help us to improve matters. And share this with your friends as well. Thank you. Thank you.